G'day, Bomber fans. Well, unfortunately, the boys do have to play footy this week. I think we'd all prefer it if we had the bye, but yeah, we got to face up against the Lions at the Gabba. We barely have a team. There's talk that we play a mid-season draftee the day after he's drafted. Yeah, I mean, not to be cynical and not to spoil my prediction, but I think this one might be a loss. But yeah, it might be a good week to tip against the Dons. But yeah, even with the impending smashing on its way, I do think this is going to be a fun game to tune into. We're kind of using it as an opportunity to play more kids. Zach Johnson's now making his debut. And this is someone we should really be more excited about. And seeing him with Clark, and those guys are my favourite of our picks last year. So yeah, this is a good glimpse into the future, I think. So don't tune out and watch something else if it gets bad, because you might miss some looks into our future. Also, by the way, before I start, I'm going live tonight with Fiona over at the Bomber Banter YouTube channel. After the draft, we're going to chat about the latest recruits. So if you guys want to get the leg up on your mates at school tomorrow with some more info, tune into that. But I'm also sure we'd discuss the team selection, because that is tonight as well. This is a busy week for the club. It's tough to pump out videos when there's so much happening. But yeah, let's get into the preview. I said we're going to get into the preview, but we got votes. Dream time at the G, we were pretty similar with the votes. 3 to Martin, 2 to Durham, 1 to Robertson Merritt, while young Angus Clark got the role player vote. I think we've got a fan favourite there. The overall tally, Merritt's still first, but there's life behind him now. Martin has closed the gap. Durham's closed the gap. Zach Reed's in 4th ahead of Dersma. Zach Reed is 4th but has missed games. Same with Draper at 9th, who's still in the top 10 after that Achilles injury. But yeah, keep up the votes. Okay, Brisbane and Essendon, 2nd up against 10th at the Gabba. It's a bloody tough ground to travel to. They really don't lose up there much, aside from the other week against Melbourne, but we don't talk about that. This is the reigning premier back in form. They beat up on Hawthorn. Hawthorn are a good team, and they beat up on them, and we can't beat up on Richmond. I think we're going to be looking at a big difference in quality here. We've gone up to the Gabba and won before. 2022 we did, when we were shocking. I think, that was late in the year. We've got the Lions when they're up and about. I think, this is going to be a high standard of footy from our opposition. And that's going to be an issue, because so far this year we've only beaten teams below us. We've been smashed by those above us. I said the Dogs were the best team we've played the other week, but I think the Lions are going to be a strong contender for that. Yeah, this is a very dangerous team and a very hard team to beat. They're flag contenders for a reason. So why should we be so scared of the Lions? Well, Brisbane are obviously a top team, but I think the interesting thing, and it makes, stats are a bit deceiving when you look at a team this good who've had, a poor run of form recently. They drew to North, they lost to Melbourne at the Gabba, so they haven't been at their best, which makes, pure numbers just hard to go off. But yeah, as we saw against the Hawks, there is still a top team right there. They're such a skilled and drilled side. They've got stars everywhere. That midfield did a number on Hawthorn. They've got Neil, a two-time Brownlow medalist. Josh Dunkley. You've got both Ashcrofts. Oscar McInerney is a bull in the ruck. Hugh McCluggage. It is a premiership midfield. Hasn't changed. It's only gotten better since last year. And then down back, Harris Andrews is the second best key defender in the league after Sam Taylor. That's my opinion. That's not based on numbers or anything. Jack Payne is so underrated. You've got Zorko on ground level. Ainsworth, who locks down anyone. And Kitty Coleman might be coming back this week as well. It is just a very good team. The only upside for us is that their forward line, maybe without Danaher, is less dangerous, but they've still got, Eric Hipwood, Logan Morris, Charlie Cameron and Archie. They can kick bags on their day. There are some nutty players in this team. I've almost definitely forgotten a few, just listing them off as well. It's just a really strong side. They've done so well to bring in A-grade talent while also hitting the draft and playing those elite draftees straight away. Everyone in that side plays a role. Even the lesser players like Ainsworth, who I spoke of before, he doesn't get spoken about, but he is a great lockdown defender. Ryan Lester's another like that. I look at their 23, and I don't see a weak link. There's no one in that team that I think needs to be replaced. I think they need better players to continue this dynasty push, but right now there isn't anyone in that team that is not fit for a spot on grand final day. And thank God they don't have Danaher, because he would be more than an issue this week. But it is a great team, Brisbane. It is, probably one of, if not the best 23 in the comp. And look, I said before, we're lucky that Joe Danaher isn't playing, but our backline this weekend, even, this Brisbane forward line, and it might not look like much, but it is going to be a worry. So as it stands right now, we've got one fit key defender, Jaden Laverty. He is 190 centimetres tall. He's barely a third key defender, let alone a first. Mackay, Reid, Ridley, Hayes, and Cox are all unavailable. We might be giving a mid-season drafty debut against the Lions. That is how bad it is. It's all about crisis management down back this week. We're lucky that we're not going up against a Geelong forward line or a Carlton forward line, but we might be in a week. So this is going to tell us a lot. We're not going to be able to set up a lot back there. We've lost two of our best ball users in Ridley and Reid. There's not going to be much oomph out of the back. And it's not going to be a game that we win through, defensive half transition, especially not against Brisbane. Really, we just have to fight tooth and nail back there and halve every contest that we can. Redmond, if he's fit, will be playing taller than he is. Pryor, the same. We're going to have mismatches in the forward 50 all the time. It's inevitable. So this would be a great day for most of these guys to just perform and give us a career best kind of game vibe. I'm going based on a hope more than anything here. I just don't see how we can compete with the back line that we currently have. But down there, expectations are low for us. We're not going to keep the Lions to a small score. But if we do, it would be off the back of incredible individual performances from our second and third and fourth string players back there. They're going to be really important tomorrow night. If we keep the Lions down to, even below triple figures, I'd be happy. I know it's a low bar, but you've got to remember our only key back is a bloke that probably wouldn't have gotten a game if those above him stayed fit. And that's harsh, but it's true. He's probably our fifth string key defender. I think if we're going to win or challenge for a win against the Lions, I think we would need to just dominate territory. We need to play tough, brutal footy at the contest, and then when we've got the pill in open play slower, methodic, maybe boring footy with ball in hand. The Lions show us what happens if you make mistakes moving the footy, and it's easy to make mistakes if you're trying to be cute and clever and fun and creative with it. I think there should still be creativity, but I don't think this is the weekend to be going gung-ho down the middle of the ground. The Lions would destroy us. It would be brutal. So I think a faster game would suit the Lions. But if we were to slow it down, it just gives us more control of a game that we don't have control in. The Lions, they've got better players around the park, the whole park, in every position. If the way the game is being played is being played in the balance in open play, in the contest, and we're having more of the footy in open play, it reduces the chances of the Lions to win by 100 points. I'm not saying we chip the ball around all night in D50. I want to see us, have real opportunities to score. But I'd much rather us build up slowly, get control of the ball, control of the game, limit the touches they get, and that way we're at least giving ourselves a chance to stem the flow. And that all starts with contested footy. You can't have the ball on the outside if you don't win it on the inside. So for that to work, we need Durham, Merritt, Setterfield, Caldwell, Goldstein. We need these guys to really lift inside the contest and match it with Neil, Dunkley, McCluggage and co. And that's going to be bloody tough. And really, in a game like this where, backs are up against the wall, all I want to see is effort and intent. I know this margin could blow out, but I don't want to see the boys content with a big loss. I think us fans can be, we're understanding that it's probably going to be a big loss, but players should never play like a team who knows they're going to lose. I'd love to see us fight out till the end regardless of the margin. I want to see, effort, even if we're down 70 or 80 points. There is a chance that we're again a very young team this weekend. Johnson coming in, Clark staying in. There's talks of Daywicks returning as well. If that is the case, we're going to have 5, 6, 7 players 19 or under. I might be exaggerating, but a lot. It's going to be a young, immature team, which means that we'll be needing examples set by those around them, by Merritt, by Durham, by Caldwell, by McGrath, by Martin. These guys are kind of our leaders at the moment. They're the ones that we need to see lift in effort when it's low. Young players can't be tasked with doing that. It's really on the leaders of the club this week to bring the heat and show the kids around them just how tough you can make it in a David versus Goliath kind of battle. Yeah, look, for me, this is a free hit of a game. We're probably going to lose. If you tip Essendon, you're tipping a major upset. Every zone right now is decimated by injuries, and I don't like to use injuries as an excuse because every club gets them, but yeah, it's pretty brutal. It's a brutal year during a rebuild. The silver lining is that results don't really matter too much right now. No fans are really eyeing off finals properly, I don't think. We just want to see our boys play good footy, and the kids are getting a go. We don't need to ask for that anymore. Zach Johnson, I've said it a few times, I'm unbelievably hyped to see this guy play. Clark and Johnson, and Kako, Caddy, Roberts, even throw in Perkins and Martin and Durham, and Caldwell. This is a huge chunk of what our team is going to look like in 2 to 3 years. We're really seeing the future squad build in front of us, and yes, it's probably going to be, from a very bad loss, but I really do think that these guys can be a big part of our next push, So, yeah. I know the game might not be a fun one, but I'm going to have fun watching them all run about. Hopefully the margin isn't too big. But yeah, my focus on tomorrow night is just quite simply watch our youth. It's weird because I'm excited about this game, full well knowing that this could be a Bulldogs 2.0 and that we lose by close to triple figures. But yeah, let's have a look at who'll be coming into the team. Team news, Zach Johnson's making his debut. Brilliant news. The bad news though, Kyle Langford, Zach Reid and Ben Mackay are confirmed out. Kyle Langford and Reid will be back after the bye. Ben Mackay is hoping next week, but I think it might be more likely that it's the week after. So that's not good. Mason Redmond and Matt Guelphy were sore after the Tigers game. I think less serious. I think they'll play. But the ins, Johnson, he's coming in. Great stuff. I think Darcy Parish could come back. He had that VFL game. The bye's kind of impacted that return. He was ready to play minutes a fortnight ago, so I think the club will back him into return. And the other change could have been Sardell Hawley for a sub option, but he's injured now. So maybe Archer Day-Wicks returns. He was rested in the VFL. I don't think Parish and Sardis come back in the same team together, so Sardis would be very unlucky to miss again. But yeah, I just think that is what the coaches will do. I don't think Shield comes in either. So Johnson, Parish, Day-Wicks, that is of course with me just disregarding the potential of a mid-season draft option because I don't know who we've picked yet. Brisbane, I think they bring in 2 stars. I think Oscar McInerney and Kitty Coleman. I wouldn't be surprised if they give them another week's rest because they'll see who they're lining up against. If they come in, it could be for Darcy Fort and Dev Robertson. But yeah, those are my team predictions. Let's get on to the actual prediction. Yeah, look, Brisbane are going to win this game. I would love to be proven wrong. Call me cynical all you want. I just don't really see how we go out and win tomorrow night. I think the Lions win, and I think they win really comfortably. The question really is how much do they win by, I think. I'd be happy with anything, I don't even know. Yeah, I reckon this has the potential to get pretty ugly. I would love the boys to make a contest. That would fill me with some real hope. But yeah, I think it's a task too tall. I think the Lions win by 50 points. And honestly, maybe more. I'm capping it off at 50 because I don't want to get clipped if we do win, but I think it could be, Bulldogs territory. But yeah, that is that. Cheers for watching, Bomber fans. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Make sure you go to Bomber Banter tonight for our live stream. And as always, go Bombers.